Good afternoon, everyone, and you're all very welcome. My name is Brenda, and I'll be delivering a PowerPoint presentation today, which hopefully you'll find useful on grant application tips for the small business owner. I'm delivering this as part of the Derry City and Strabane District Council Enterprise Week. So what I'll be covering today is what is a grant, what types of grants are available, where can I find grant announcements, do's and don'ts, completing and submitting your grant application, and hopefully when successful, managing your grant award. So what is a small business grant? Well, first off, grants differ from other forms of finance. You do not have to pay a grant back. It's not a loan, nor is it an overdraft, and it does not come from the bank. You do not have to give away any equity on your business, and that's a really important point. A grant does not entitle you to give away equity on your business. So business grants are funding streams for a specific project or purpose, usually set out by the organisation providing the funding. So, for example, if a grant opportunity arose, it may specifically be for buying capital equipment or for employing an apprentice or a trainee. Grant funding usually has specific criteria depending on the size of your business, location of your business, the sector you operate in, and the purpose of the grant. Small business grants can be an excellent opportunity for those interested in starting or funding a new or existing business venture. So as you can see, there's various types of small business grants, and all of them have a specific purpose usually set out by the funder. So in the next slide, I will cover what types of small business grants are available, and that will give you a bit more information on the specifics of grants. So what types of small business grants are available? Well, first off, grants are there to help with your business development and grow, and are available from various sources, such as government, charity, and local councils. They can be linked to a specific industry, for example, tech, food, or geographical area, economic regeneration, and retail services. Grants can be match funded. Now, a very important aspect of match funding grants is, for example, the funder will only give you a grant for 50% of the amount. So if they put out a grant call for a company to buy capital equipment and it's only being match funded, the grant could be for £5,000. You will have to put up 2,500 and the funder will give you the additional 2,500, but I will go into that in more specifics later on in the presentation. On the flip side of the match funded grants are the 100% funded grants. This is where you make an application for a set amount of money, and if successful, you will get all of that money. So if there's a grant call for £5,000, you put in the application for £5,000, you meet all the criteria, and the funder believes that you're eligible, then they will give you 100% of that grant. There's also direct grants, which are usually regional growth funding grants, and then other grants which are quite popular are resources, startups and training grants, such as innovation grants. So where can we find these grants? Where can you source these grant calls? Begin to make an application for ones that you are eligible to apply for. So where can I find small business grant announcements? Well, it's really important that you register for funding news services to keep you up to date with the latest funding opportunities. There is an absolute multitude of websites out there that you can register and sign up to in order to get emails into your box when grant funding becomes available. Now, it's always worth remembering that all of the grants that are being readily available may not meet your criteria, so you will not be eligible to apply for those. But again, I'll look at that in a bit more detail. So register for funding news services to keep up to date with the latest funding opportunities. There's a lot of local websites that you can sign up to, for example, Social Enterprise NI and also Catalyst Inc. Derry City and Strabane District Council also have an excellent resource within their website where you can filter down into your area of expertise or what your small business is about. If you could put in all the drop downs, then that will throw you up grants that you may be eligible to apply for. So it's really worth looking and applying for that. And it's Derry and Strabane for community newsletter. And as I say, you will get an email into your inbox every couple of weeks showing a whole lot of grants that are available with all the web links there as well. So you can just click on each of the web links and it'll take you to the grant funders website, and then you can check out the eligibility criteria and check if you're eligible to apply for any of those grants. Another excellent resource is Women in Business, and that's tailored very much towards the female entrepreneur who wants to begin a business or set up a company. There's an absolute wealth of information within that website. They hold regular sort of on-site networking meetings as well. And there is also a lot of information on there about grant applications. One of the programs that is really useful for females starting up a business or wanting to apply for grant funding is a program called Yes You Can program. So that's also within the Women in Business website. And if you click on that, then it'll take you to the Yes You Can program information. You can look at that and sign up for that. You fill out the application form, put it through, and then they hold face-to-face and online mentoring as well, which is really useful. And there's also things like 20k pitching competitions where startups go along with their business idea, they pitch it, they do an elevator pitch, and it's competitive, and hopefully it's a really good method of people getting money to start up their business as well. Another program as well for startups is Go For It Northern Ireland program. The website goforitni.com is also really useful for startups, for mentoring, giving you business information, and also pointing you in the direction of where you can get grant funding or apply within that program for grant funding to start up your business. Invest NI is also an excellent resource for grants. They have all the grants on there that they have available for various sectors within the business and growth community and sector, research and innovation and exporting. If you want to go into the export market, etc., you will find all the information you need on there. There's proof of concept grants, which is a business idea, where you have a business idea or a proof of concept grant where you have an idea, it's grown, and you want to enhance on that. And there's also Tech Start. There's also a grant, Northern Ireland Business Info. This is an excellent resource for finding grants and seeing what's available in real time, getting information about businesses, completing your grant application forms, and the criteria surrounding the grants as well. Enterprise Ireland is also an excellent resource for finding out what grants are available. So that's enterprise-ireland.com. So as you can see, there's an absolute wealth of information out there. It's just a case of knowing where to look, basically, where to register, register on their websites, and where to look and see what's available. So if you go in and sign up on each of those websites, then you will get information into your inbox, and it'll be like a flag to you that these grants are becoming available. So hopefully you will find that useful. And as I say, once you get all that those emails coming in and you're aware of the websites to look at, then you can continue to keep looking and checking out what's available and what matches your business. So I'll just move on here. So one of the really important factors to remember is the application process is highly competitive. So you've done your research, you've found your grant that you want to apply for. But it's just worth remembering the application process is highly competitive. It is basically a competition. So what you're aiming to do is complete your application form and really selling yourself, your idea, and what the grant funding will be used for and how it'll enhance your business, how it'll grow your business, how it'll increase your turnover, how it'll help you employ more people. All of those things is what the grant funders want to see. They don't want to just give you money if it's not going to enhance the business and help you grow within your market sector. So when filling out the grant application, you must be really specific. The first thing you must do is don't waste your time applying for a grant that you're not eligible for. So check the eligibility criteria. As I said in the previous slides, I'll just pop back here. Sorry, can't go back. As I said in the previous slides, you have to be within a certain sector. So some of the grants can just target rural communities where they're trying to do regeneration and growth within a rural community. Some of the grants could be very specific to city centre businesses. Some could be specific to research development or retail sector. So do check the eligibility criteria of grants. Do your research and ensure your grant application is strong. It should be clear, concise and compelling. And if you're in any doubt about your eligibility when you are applying for the grant, contact the awarding body if you want to discuss it or discuss any aspect of the funding. That's what they are there for as well, is to discuss the grant with you, let you know if you're, the eligibility criteria, so that you're clear that you are okay to go ahead, start putting pen to paper and completing the form. But as I say, do ensure that your application is strong and clear, concise, and just think of it like a job application. What will make me stand out from the other applicants? What will the grant funder look at and say that, yes, this is, worth investing in? Show how you will meet the objectives of the grant. That's very important. You can put a lot into a grant application, but you must ensure that what you're saying you're going to do with the money or the funding that you receive, that you're 100% certain that you can achieve all of those objectives. There's no point in applying for a grant, getting the funding, and then not being able to meet the targets set out within that grant. Include statistics and figures to illustrate how the grant will allow you to grow your business. This is really important as well. If you are applying, for example, if you're applying for a grant for capital equipment to grow your business, say you have a dog grooming business and at the minute you only have one bath to wash the dog, one hairdryer to wash dogs, you want to apply for additional capital equipment, you want to apply for another hairdryer and another bath. Show how that second set of equipment will impact on the growth of your business. How will it affect your turnover of the business, your income? Will you be able to employ an additional person? Can you take in an apprenticeship? Can you take in a trainee? Will that mean that you are actually creating employment within your business as well? So when you're making your application and outlining what you are going to spend the money on, use your figures within your business. Use statistics, use percentages, let the funder see how that funding money that they will hopefully allocate to you will grow your business, will help you employ more people, will help you, generate more income. So that's really important, is try and back it up with hard, tangible figures rather than just saying, I'm going to buy this, going to buy that. You know, they want to see how it's going to affect you. And have a strong business plan, again, showing how the money will be spent. Don't just apply for a grant and you have no idea what you're going to spend the money on. Have a straight business plan or an idea of how the money will be spent and how it will improve your business. So those are only a few of the do's. There's quite a number of them, but I've tried to pick out the ones that are really important. So again, ensure you meet the eligibility criteria. Do your research, ensure your grant application is strong. What will make you stand out from all the other grant applicants? And contact the awarding body if you've got any doubts, just to discuss the application process or your eligibility with them, and show how you will meet the objectives of the grant when you're completing your grant application, and back it up with strong, tangible figures so that the grant funder can see how the grant that they will allocate, hopefully to you, will impact and help you grow your business, and have a strong business plan. So the don'ts of completing and submitting your application form, again, I can't specify this so much. The application process is highly competitive. So don't apply for a grant if you don't meet the eligibility criteria. There's no point. There's no point in you putting in a grant application, a rural grant application, if your business is slap bang in the middle of a city centre. So that's a big no-no. So there is no point in doing that. So don't apply for grants if you don't meet the criteria. Don't submit an incomplete application form. Don't use outdated documents, outdated documents or figures, and do not inflate figures. Do not inflate your figures and say the grant money will increase your business by 100% when it won't. It might increase your turnover by 50%. So don't inflate your figures. And when we say don't submit an incomplete application form, a lot of the application forms require supplementary documents to be sent along with them. For example, if you're wanting to apply for a capital equipment grant, they may want you to get some quotes in advance and put those with your application form. So they may require 3 quotes from suppliers just to see, you know, if it comes within the grant allowance. So don't send off your application form without the supplementary documents that the grant funder has asked for. Going back to types of grants that are available, match funded grants that we spoke about earlier. Don't apply for a match funded grant if you cannot match the funding being offered. So there is no point in you applying for a match funded grant of £5,000 and the grant funder is going to give you 2,500 and you have to put up the other 2,500 yourself, but you don't have that money available within your business to match fund. So again, you're probably best not to apply for a match funded grant if you can't match the funding that the grant funders are, offering you. And another really important point as well, a lot of people when they're making application for grants use very in-house acronyms, acronyms they use within their business or within the business sector. Don't assume that the assessor of your grant application form will know what the acronym is, because acronyms are very specific to certain kinds of businesses. So don't use jargon, and that will be really useful. Use familiar language. Just assume that the grant funder, they obviously do not know anything about your business. Assume they don't know anything about your business, and you are laying it out in plain, familiar language for them. Another point as well is don't use adjectives or descriptive words that are open to interpretation. Don't say that getting the grant funding will be a significant impact impact on your business, and it'll help you grow your business tenfold, and you'll be able to increase your turnover by 100 or 200%. The adjectives and the descriptor words that you're using within your grant application, you might feel, they will be open to interpretation, but what you feel is significant won't be significant to the funder or the person reading the grant application. So it goes back again to what I said earlier. Show the results and impacts rather than describe them. Don't put, for example, if I am successful in getting this grant, I can buy an extra bath for my dog grooming business and an extra hair blow dryer for my dog grooming business. This will be absolutely amazing and mean that I can increase my business like massively. Instead of using those sorts of words, show the results and impact. Back it up with figures. Be very specific and show how you can, use that money again to grow the business. But show your results and impact basically rather than describing them. Okay, so the next one is managing your grant successfully. So you've succeeded, and congratulations on being successful in getting your grant. So you've got your small business grant. So what now? The funder has given you a grant. You've never had a grant before. You're delighted you're successful, but how am I going to manage this? What do I need to do now? So first of all, it's really important to remember a small business grant, it is not free money. The funder will have stipulations about how the money is spent. The funder will give you grant money, and there will be a very tight criteria as to how that money can be spent. So that's worth remembering. A small grant is not free money. So you've received your letter of offer. So normally if you're successful with a grant, you will get an email or a letter of offer, it's usually called, where the funder has come and said, congratulations, you have been successful in your grant application of X amount of pounds. Here's what is happening now. So you receive your letter of offer. It's really important that you review the grant proposal that you submitted. So you go right back to the beginning. You look at the grant application that you completed. You look at what you put on the application form in order to secure your grant funding. You focus on the objectives you proposed and the timeline for implementation, and then you plan accordingly to meet the project deadlines. So a lot of grants will say, here's your money, the grant will expire, it will have to be spent in 4 months' time, in 1 year's time, 2 years, depending on the size of the grant, depending again, going back to the criteria of the funder and what their stipulations are. So you must plan accordingly to meet the project deadlines. Excuse me. And it's also really important that first and foremost, you thank the funder and formally accept the offer. By formally accepting the offer, that allows the grant funder to know that you have received your letter of offer, you're happy with the criteria, you're happy with the deadlines, and you're ready to start using the finance that they have given you. So, plan for grant reporting and audit. This is very important. Ensure you keep a copy of your grant application and all communications. So when you complete the grant application, again, the grant funder gives you the money. So keep a copy of the grant application. Keep a paper trail of all the emails you've received from the funder. If you have reached out to the funders asking about the eligibility criteria or asking for advice, keep all those emails along with your grant application form so that you can keep returning back to those and checking them. Now, another really important point about grants, once you receive your money, procurement can be a minefield after you successfully secure your grant. So procurement is basically going out, finding a supplier, finding a company to either supply you with goods or to carry out work. A lot of funders have specific tenders laid out with various companies that they might want you to use, or you may have to source your own. But it's really important that you strictly adhere to all procurement guidelines. Various funders have various stipulations for their procurement. Some will, if you want to buy a piece of capital equipment, some will say, we want 3 quotes. We want to see 3 quotes from 3 different suppliers in order for you to make your decision on purchasing. And then if you choose a specific company, they may ask, why did you choose that company? They're not the cheapest. And then you could then back up why you chose that company, because they're more aligned to your business, or your business had very specific needs and this was the only company you could use. So adhere strictly to procurement guidelines. So that's another really important point once you receive the money. And also know what you will be spending the money on, and ensure you keep quotes, invoices and receipts for audit purposes. I can't specify this enough. I can't specify how important it is that you keep all of your invoices, all of your receipts, all of your quotes. Keep everything together once you've received that grant, because applying for the grant is only part of it. Getting the money is only another part. Then a really important and final stage of your grant is spending the money, ensuring you're spending it properly, and ensuring you're adhering to the funder's procurement policies and guidelines and structures, and also ensuring that you're reporting back to the grant funder if they do require information, because sometimes they will come back and say, can we see this before we pay out all of the money. That's just another really important point actually that I'm just going to throw in, but it's not on the slides. How grant funders sometimes pay the money is they may give you it all in a lump sum all at once, but some may ask you to buy the things and then reclaim them back. So for example, if it was for capital equipment, some funders might ask you to purchase the equipment, but ensure you've got your quotes and ensure you've got all of your receipts available, and then you make application then to them and they will pay you back the amount that you paid out, and that will be like a drawdown from the grant. So if your grant was for £5,000, you bought a piece of equipment in advance, paid for it, then you make your application to the funder, they will then pay you the money back, and you will be left with that additional balance still to draw down on. So that's a really important point as well. So that's another reason why it's important to keep all your quotes and invoices and everything for audit purposes, because you don't want to be left in a situation where you've bought some equipment, you don't have any paperwork to back it up, and then the funder disallows it because you can't produce the proper documentation. So that's basically it. I'm really hoping that you enjoyed that. There's a lot more that can be included in grant applications. There's a lot more information that's readily available. A lot of the information is very specific to the grants that you're applying for, what types of grants that you're applying for. But as I said, I really hope that that short, sharp overview has helped you, especially the section where it shows you where you can find grants, because I think that's mainly the problem. A lot of people don't know where these grants are available and they don't know where to find them. So I would suggest first off that you go onto those websites that I put up earlier and have a look, register, and then you can get all the information into your inbox, and then you can sift through and have a look at what's available, because you would be surprised at the number of grants that become available all of the time that you don't know about. So that would be the first piece of advice I would give you. So if you have any questions, I know this is a recorded presentation, so if you have any questions or you would like any advice on what I presented today, please do feel free just to reach out to me with any queries whatsoever. My contact details are here on this final slide. My email is forgranted55@gmail.com, and I said my name is Brenda, and hopefully again you found it useful, and don't be afraid to reach out to me if you want any more information. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for joining.